Hello, welcome again. Once again, guys, thank you so much for joining this podcast, the podcast that was made for you, that great minded person, that person that thinks outside the box, that wants to get to the next level. Yes, I'm speaking to you. Thank you. My name is Angel, and I'm the host of this wonderful podcast. And I want to thank you for joining. Please share this content, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those platforms that you already know. I want to thank you guys again. Today is Monday. Beautiful, beautiful Monday. I had a great, busy Monday today, and I was so anxious for this Monday to get here. Of course, yesterday was Father's Day. So, again, happy Father's Day. I hope you guys all had a great Father's Day weekend. I did. I want to thank my wife, my daughter for planning out a great busy Sunday and much more of a relaxing Sunday, right? So I was thrilled, I was excited. My daughter had me a great surprise as usual, and she loves those days because daddy's little girl, so you guys already know how that is. Guys, once again, thank you for joining this podcast. I have a great show today, but before we get started, as you know, we already have some good news today. Finally, I'm going to have the podcast audio after the show is going to be available as usual on the Anchor app, right? Anchor.com, and also on the Google Podcast and Spotify. Spotify is a part of the Anchor is part of Spotify, right? But also iTunes. I'm going to have the link to iTunes because I finally got through Apple to get me verify, certify, whatnot, all approval and all this other stuff to get through them. So that platform is going to be also available from there from today on. Okay, guys. So thank you again for sharing this content. For those of you who follow me on Instagram under Angel Santos 75 and my Twitter account under Angel Santos 75 as well. Okay, so if you're in the Orlando area, this podcast is also brought to you by drymailbox.com. So if you need any mailboxes within the Orlando area, feel free to give me a call and contact me or message me, okay? Also, as you may know, collagen, we have great natural supplements. As I always have my energy, I got to have my energy daily. My wife and I, we go do our exercise. We have the Gold Factor. If you're into natural supplements, look up that link right there, theforlife.com/Santos Family, and you can see my virtual store. If you have any questions, concerns, regarding these type of supplements, feel free to contact me. Don't hesitate, okay? So, guys, today's going to be a great show. Why? For so many reasons. First of all, I just met this young woman, very talented, very has so much to give, and that's why I follow her through Facebook. I don't know how we ran into each other, but thanks for Facebook and Twitter and all these accounts starting to reach out to great people. That's why I love doing this podcast. I found something that I'm very passionate about. I don't know about you guys. If you found your passion and you're passionate about maybe running your business or whatnot, but I found something that I'm having fun with it. I'm learning, and on top of that, I'm connecting with great-minded people, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm very blessed and fortunate to connect with great-minded people that not only I'm giving them the opportunity to be on this platform, but they're also giving me from their experience and their learnings as well. So we'll get ready to take some notes because this woman, she's a John Maxwell certified team member, right? With the John Maxwell team. She's been with Tony Robbins, the Grant Cardones of the world. So this woman has been learning a lot from some great talented people, and that's what it's all about. So today she's going to be talking to us about how to grow and scale your business. So whether you're doing your business now or you already been into it or you're thinking about starting your own business, growing your brand, etc., take notes, listen carefully because Laura, she's a very talented woman. I'm going to get to know her story, her more personal story, right? And I'm going to get to learn more about her. So ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome my host here, my guest here, Laura Joinville. Thank you, Laura. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. Thank you again for taking out of your time to be on this podcast. So how's everything going so far?
everything's going great. We were busy with Father's Day because we wanted to make it grandiose and special. Um, and that was very, very important to us because my
Yeah.
husband has been a big support when it comes to my business, when it comes to the children
That's
and managing everything while we're both busy. So we
yeah.
wanted to make it extra special, and we did. And I'm so happy that we were able to do that.
That's good. That's awesome. So you live currently in Coral Springs, is that correct?
Coral Springs, Florida. Yes.
Okay. And how long you been living down there in Coral Springs?
Oh my God. Probably 12, 15, 12 years now. I would
Oh, okay. Okay. So you're used to this beautiful heat, south this Florida weather is
It is. It's
crazy.
extremely humid now, so it's been raining a lot
Oh my God, yes. Just
now.
it just stormed down here right now here in Orlando, and I was like not hoping these lightning storms that just knock out your power or your Wi-Fi. I'm like, oh God, please. I'm like,
Right.
no, 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 please, just
Never
let it
know.
go through.
You just
Yeah, Laura,
what you're gonna get. One day it's sunny, it's beautiful, you want to go to the beach, and the next day it's raining. So
it's
I'm used
crazy.
to it.
I know it's crazy. But thank you for being on this podcast, Laura. Now, for people who don't know you, I want my audience, right, to get to know you first before we get into your
Right.
profession and what you do. Because, of course, like I say, people see the glory now and they see the results, but we don't see, what challenges you had when you were younger. Parents were there now. So, give us a little bit about your story. I know you said you're from Haiti, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so how was it growing up in Haiti and your father, your mom, etc., your siblings? Tell us a little bit about your story.
So I had a wonderful childhood,
Okay.
doing what typical kids do without a cell phone and without all the gadgets that we have now.
Yeah.
It was actually fun, and we really enjoyed ourselves. And sometimes I try to bring my own children back to, moments that I lived as a child to explain to them that you don't need all those gadgets to be happy, right?
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are a lot of things that you can do with your friends and with your family that are very precious because you build memories. Those are things that you never forget. And I just don't want them to lose touch and to miss on those opportunities that, we had, for example, when I was a child growing up. And my mom was also an entrepreneur. Um,
Wow.
she had her own business, and she always wanted me to work to replace her, that is. And
Okay.
she had a school, and I always told her, I'm not a teacher. I was more like the kind of child that wanted to find my way in life. And I
Okay.
didn't know exactly what that meant at the time. A lot of people saw it as, this is a child with a mind of her own, a wild mind, wild imagination.
Yeah.
But later on, I'm understanding that it was that entrepreneurial side of me as well
Uh-huh.
that pushed me to be that way. Unfortunately, I lost my mother at the age of 19,
Oh,
three
wow.
months prior to my graduation, my
Okay.
high school graduation. So
Wow.
I remember the worry on her face because she was leaving two children. And one thing
Wow.
I remember telling her was not to worry, that I will do everything in my power to create a great life for myself. So
And you were 19 at the
I
time.
was 19 at the time. I had
Wow.
no clue what I just told her. I
Yeah.
had no clue how I was going to make it happen, but I just threw it out there just to give her a little bit of peace of mind, that is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, and I knew too because my sister at the time was 11 years old. So it was not a choice for me. A lot of kids were looking towards college and were looking towards all the fun they're going to have and everything that they're going to do with their friends, I was not afforded this luxury. I had to
Yeah.
think very differently at a very young age. So I remember coming here to with my aunt, to live here with my aunt, who became my second mother, right?
Okay.
And it was a change, you know. It was me leaving my house, leaving everything I knew as I knew it, coming into another world and learning a different way of living, you know,
Right.
because here everything is fast paced. You really, really have to, you know, work hard to climb up that ladder.
Yeah.
Whereas where I was, my mother basically had her own business. All I had to do is step in and, you know, take her place, right? So
Okay.
um, I had to build a different platform for myself. I had no clue how I was going to do that. I remember browsing the classified one day. A lot of kids nowadays, I'm sure, won't know what that means.
Yeah.
Classified kids. It's a it's a newspaper that they used to have when you needed a job, and there was no Indeed, none of that stuff. Monster
Nothing.
that
Classifieds.
so you had to go to the classified, the actual paper, to
Yeah.
see what's available to you. And sometimes there was just a handful of opportunities that you would find. So I started to do some door-to-door jobs, and that was really, really dreadful, right?
Oh my God. I've done that before.
Something that I never want to go back to,
Mm-mm.
honestly. And but that taught me something. It taught me how to handle rejections.
Mm.
Sometimes
Wow.
we don't even know how God molds us at a very early stage, and we
Yeah.
think it's hard. We're complaining. We're like, why am I going through this? This is so hard. But there are a lot of lessons that we learn from those early stages and those difficulties that we go through at a very early age. So
Exactly.
um, until one day I realized that it's a matter of choices. All I have to do is make a choice, a different choice, a choice that I will like, a choice that I will be able to live with. So
Exactly.
one day I saw a position at an insurance agency, and I was excited about that. It was just a receptionist position, but you know what, Angel? I told myself all I need is a door, is a window. I just need to get in. The minute I get in, I will climb up the ladder all the way to the top.
Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I got the position. 1 year later, I'm getting licensed. After that, I'm starting to sell insurance, property insurance. And just probably 5 years later, I started getting into the private client high net worth insurance with people that have liquidable asset $2 to $5 million. So I
Okay.
was doing larger properties, yachts, luxury cars, all that cool stuff, celebrity,
Wow.
etc. So it was great. It was great. I had a lot of fun doing that.
Yeah. It was a good experience.
It was
Yeah.
a very good experience, and not to mention the mentoring that I got from a lot of those people for free. You know, just
Yeah.
by speaking to them and, you know, spending some time with them, where they were giving me business advice, finance advice, mindset advice. And a lot of them were pushing me to start my own business. I didn't know
Mm-hmm.
what that was going to look like. Um, but eventually I started wanting more, you know. I felt that there was something that was missing. It was
Yeah.
the significance, you know. Eventually you want to feel that you're leaving a legacy to your family, your children.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that happened after I had my kids. I started looking at the world differently. I started thinking that, you know, I need to create something that my children can benefit from one day. So I started going to conferences, seminars, and all that. And that's when Grant comes along because he's in Miami.
Yeah.
So I remember when I first saw him on, on YouTube, there was that major conference they were having in Miami.
In Miami, yeah.
Right. And the only problem at the time is I had just given birth to my child. I wasn't working, and I had no way of going to the conference, right?
Right.
So, but I told everybody at my house that I was going, just like that. I had no idea how I was going to attend the conference, but I told them that I was going. And I started doing my research. So I went online and I figured that, you know what, someone out there bought the ticket but cannot go anymore. So I need to find that person.
What?
Heal.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, because it's true. You're like, okay, somebody, so I gotta negotiate that with somebody.
Yes. And make a deal with this person and attend the conference. So that's exactly what I did. I found my person. This person was all the way in Europe, couldn't attend. And not only I wanted to go VIP, which was a $2,500 ticket.
Mm-hmm.
So I offered him a very low ticket price. I told him, how about if I give you $200 because you can't go? And he was like, no. And I expected that. And I sent him another message and I told him that, I know it's worth $2,500. I would give you that. I would give you the money if I had it right now. But there are a lot of things I want to do in my life. I am very determined, and I will make sure that I use it wisely.
Exactly.
So at this point, I am asking you to give me a chance, and eventually I will, I will come back to you, and you will see what I'm able to do with that.
Wow.
Yes, he responded to me. He told me, you deserve this seat more than anybody I know.
Wow. Without knowing you on a personal level, just based on what he was hearing.
Based on what he was hearing. And that's how I got my ticket. I went VIP, and I was at very close proximity to the stage. And I was able to hear John Maxwell, Grant, and all that. And that's when I started developing a different mindset.
Yes.
By the time I left the conference, I knew that I had found my calling, right?
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I will follow the path to become a motivational speaker. And I bought the program.
Okay.
I bought the program. I swapped my husband's credit card, that is. And I told him, this is going to be for us. You will not regret this. He was a little skeptical at first, but he trusted me, and he knows that I'm a very hard worker, that when I put my mind to something, I pursue it.
Yeah.
I'm committed, and I think he trusted that in me. And that's how my journey started, and it's been absolutely wonderful.
Wow, man, that's thank you for sharing that, Laura. That's amazing, because that says a lot, especially in someone like yourself. Like you said, that you had your born child.
Right.
You everyone could have had that excuse, right? No whining, no quitting, no excuses. Right here, guys. Okay.
Man,
yeah.
One of those.
Yeah.
I'll get with you to know how to get that.
Yeah, I'll definitely share that with you. And because I like shirts that, especially I say for my podcast, I'm not going to advertise a brand, that, they're not going to pay me. I mean, if they're going to pay me, then I'll wear your shirt. But if you're not going to pay me, I'd rather send a message, but But going back to that is like you could have had the excuses, you could have quit, and you could have had a million excuses. Just like I mean, we all have that. I've been through that path before, but your mindset, even at a young age, which is so amazing. That's why I want people to focus on that. Is that you know you didn't have the money for the ticket, but it's amazing how you say, okay, I'm gonna find someone who already bought the ticket because Grant Cardone doesn't care if the person goes or not go. If it's paid, it's like okay, well, there's an empty seat there, so you got to find a way to get your body into that seat, and that's what you did. That's amazing.
Right. And Grant even featured me one time um, at his office as a success example. And
Wow,
I remember being in tears looking at that and remembering how it all started because
wow,
I follow him and now, I get on his mentorship calls. And that's what it is, when you're determined, you will
yes,
find a way. And there's no way that at the time you will know exactly which way it is. Sometimes everything collaborates, God collaborates with you to give you the right person.
yeah,
Um, but you end up finding the way. And I've been living my life by faith,
yeah.
I think it and I commit and I do it. I
I mean,
don't wait
yeah.
for it.
Yeah,
So
no, exactly. That I mean that determination, that act of faith that you told your mom when you were 19 years old.
19
It
years old.
was like you had, even though you had that burden on you that you had to be pretty much on your own and whatnot. Now, do you
Right.
have any siblings, brothers, sisters, any
No,
of that?
I was the oldest.
Oh, you were
I
the oldest.
was the older one. Yeah.
Okay, and then when you went to Florida, you came to Florida directly to Florida with your aunt, correct?
Right. Because my aunt was living in Florida. So
So your
she,
aunt was pretty much like that role model of a
yeah,
mom and caring
absolutely.
for you, help giving you at least giving you shelter that you needed just to
Right.
get build your platform. Wow.
Absolutely. That's what I'm telling you. Everything ends up. You see, it's funny the power of words, which is the reason why I always tell people be careful how you speak. Be careful the words that you're pronouncing on a daily basis, especially
Absolutely.
when it concerns you, because
Absolutely.
our words have power, right? And
Yes.
creative
Yes.
power that is. So when we pronounce something, when we say something, eventually, typically those things are bound to happen. Um, I remember I was in a training where they were telling me how NASCAR drivers, when they're training them, they always tell them, don't look at the wall. Whatever you do, don't focus on the wall because wherever your focus is
That's where
exactly
you're
where
going.
you're going to go. So
Yep.
in other words, if you're driving a vehicle and you're losing control, your focus should be where you want to go, not on the obstacle, not on the wall or wherever else that you're inclined to go. Because if that's where your focus is, then your entire body, your energy will go exactly where that is,
That's
and
right.
you will rip the results of what you had in your mind. So may as well make it a good one. And like you said, no excuses, no quitting. And I know that life is hard. I can
It
tell
is.
you, I lived my teenage life basically with a very sickly mother, and I knew that her time would have come at some point. I just didn't know when that was. So that was a hard life.
Yeah.
But I focused my attention on all the good that I could grab at the time. And that's how I lived my life. Everything is hard. Your marriage will be hard. Raising children is hard.
Hmm.
But we make life what we want to make it. You know,
That's it.
while
Yes.
it's hard, you bring the most out of yourself. You stay positive, and eventually, I promise you, you will see the
Yeah.
positive.
Work hard. Yeah, work hard every day, and especially when you have, your children. Like my motivation is my family now. My wife. We've been married, for 11 years now, and our daughter. She's 9 years old. And this to give you a little bit of story, Laura. My wife, last year before the COVID,
Right.
we had a little scare. We had a little I say a test, I guess, from God that testing our faith and whatnot. And because she had like a dry cough, and when we went in January of 2020, she was diagnosed with a stage 4 lung cancer.
Wow.
Someone who does not smoke. I do not smoke. We don't have any habits of that nature. We are it's the opposite. We exercise and whatnot, and for the glory of God, today, we went through a scary moment, right? Because we were like, but one thing that we did pronounce in our mouth was that, God, we know that, this is a tough moment, but we know we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this somehow. And I told my wife, we're gonna get through this. Don't worry, and God put everything in order, put the doctors, we prayed, we had our faith family, pray for us and everything. And, the friends and family were a lot of support, but, there was a moment where we had a one or the other choice. We either gave up and let the cancer win, or we fight it, and we're still fighting.
That's great. And I'm sorry to hear that. I know
Yeah,
how difficult it is, not only on the person, but also on the family, because a
yeah,
lot of times you feel that helplessness. You want to do a lot for this person, and you feel that you're limited to the things that you can do. But
exactly.
if it or not, when you're that support system and you're praying for this person, it is a lot, because a lot of times they do need, and we all do, we need that support system. We need someone to pick
Yeah,
us up when we feel down and when we feel discouraged and we
exactly.
don't feel like fighting anymore. So that's very
Yeah.
important.
So, Laura, let's talk a little bit about your website. I see the laurajoinville.com. Because I went to the website just to see what it was, and I see that you could be hired, right, as a keynote speaker and whatnot. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, I went through the John Maxwell training, like I told.
Exactly. Yeah.
I was able to explore that, and not only with John Maxwell. I did some work with Pete Vargas, where I
Okay.
trained with Pete Vargas to become a stronger speaker.
Okay.
And, um, and basically, that's what I speak about. I speak about motivation, the power that you have within to make things happen in your life, things that don't seem that they're at your reach, that you can make happen based on your attitude and how you see things. Because the thing is, a lot of times we see where we are and where we want to go, and we just look at the big gap between the two. And
Okay.
we ask ourselves, how do we go from the person that we are now to the
Hmm.
person that we know that we can be, you
Can
know?
be.
And that's when you need that bridge. The bridge could be anything. The bridge could be a mentor. The bridge could be a course that you take. Um, I'm the kind of person that I like to be prepared. That's just who I am. I
Yeah.
like to be probably overly prepared sometimes, and that's not necessarily good, but
Yeah.
that's just my personality, and I just didn't want to go through an imposter syndrome where I don't feel ready.
Yeah.
So I went through a lot of self education and had a lot of mentors to help me
Hmm.
close the gap between what I know that I could do and where I was. And, that's for everybody to determine what is the perfect bridge for you. Who do you admire, trust, and like, right? And
Right.
what is it that you would like to do in life? And once you figure that out, you start looking at who's doing it and who's successful at it and what did they do to get there. You
Exactly.
have to
Yeah.
study people. I know it takes work, but it does take work.
Yeah.
You have to do your research. There's no shortcut to this matter. You
No.
have to be out there, be curious, do your research, and basically that's how you make things happen in your life.
Yeah, because that's what I'm noticing is that you took the time to invest in yourself, and I think you hear that a lot, especially a lot of motivational speakers nowadays, that they say the best investment you could do is on yourself because you
Absolutely.
have to because you have to go to the seminars. If you're in real estate, you have to go to a lot of real estate seminars, learning about the market, and
Right.
whatnot. There's a lot of things to learn, so that's how important is that investing on yourself first rather than investing on anything else.
It is very important because it's an investment that you will never lose. Whether the market crashes or not, whatever happens, right? What's in your brain is in your brain. You will never, never lose that. And it
Exactly.
will always come handy. And it's so funny how sometimes things that you did not think would come handy to you, everything comes together, for a greater purpose. So you might have this grand idea of who you want to be and what you want to do. And
Right.
you will be surprised that a lot of little things that you did in your prior life that you didn't think mattered. When I was knocking at doors, I didn't think it mattered. I thought it was a waste of my time, you know, but
Yeah.
but I needed to build the character and to get past the rejections, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because right now it's the same thing, probably in a bigger scale, but you still go through
Exactly.
rejection and all that. And to me, that was dress rehearsal for what I wanted to do in the future. So never
Right.
underestimate something that you're doing, or if you're put in a certain position, because eventually you might find that it is very, very useful to you, and it builds your character to be the person that you
It
out
does.
tomorrow.
Definitely it does. So let's talk a little bit about how would you advise someone that wants to grow and scale their business, whether it's any type of business. I think with restaurant business or entrepreneur business, someone independent. What tips can you give us to grow and scale those type of businesses?
Um, First, you have to understand the business you're in. A lot of
Okay.
people like the idea of a business, but they don't know the business they're in. In other words,
Mm.
there's a market research that goes at first. It,
Okay.
this is the boring part of building a business, but it's very important. You have to understand your market, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Who your market, who are you selling, who's your target audience, and
Okay.
what problem are you solving. So those have to be clear to you. Those ideas have to be very, very clear to you. You
Okay.
need to understand what the market share is like, who's your competitors, what are they doing, what's the behavior when it comes to your competitors.
Right.
Although you're not going to dwell on that, but it is very, very important for you to have a general idea of your market, and also to educate yourself. If you're in real estate, you need to read books. Books are
Mm.
very, very important. A lot
Yeah.
of people go and pay a lot of money to learn things that they can read. Okay.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Nobody wants to hang out at the library. I absolutely love Audibles. Audibles, while you're stuck in traffic in your car, you can listen to a book. Some books are 1 hour long.
Yeah.
So, you know, you still get a lot out of reading a book, because um, an author, when they're writing a book, they're putting, their heart and soul in there,
Yeah.
and sometimes they have time to think about things that they write in a book, whereas if they're on stage or they're doing a seminar, they might not have the time to elaborate on a lot of things that they would typically put in their books. So make sure that you read a lot, and also you need to understand who your target audience, which is probably the most important
Important.
of the
Right.
puzzle. A lot of people think that my product is for everybody. Anybody would
Yeah.
advantage of that. It's almost like dropping a needle,
In a
in
haystack.
a canyon or something.
Yeah.
You need to know your niche. You need to know who you're serving and who needs your product. And that's the best way you're gonna cater to this group of people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's something that you need to narrow down. And
Okay.
I would say write them down. Go back to the basic, write them down. Who am I serving? Who is my target audience? And how can I serve them every single day? What can I do every day that is better than yesterday? Because
Okay.
the more you add value,
Yeah.
the more valuable, your product or your services become. And people will be loyal to you. That's how you build a brand. And
Exactly.
you need to build the kind of brand that will outlive you. So
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So how quick question for you. How do you handle like your goals? Like what are your like daily goals, weekly, monthly, like short term, long term? How do you handle and how do you plan out your goals?
the way that I plan out my goals, I look at the bigger picture. Where do I want to be in X amount of time, right? Whether it's 5 years, 10 years, I
Right.
look at the ultimate result. What is this big idea? Why am I doing all the things that I'm doing? Where am I trying to go? So once I get, you know, I get the big picture and I start basically organizing myself from that point on. What can I do every single day to get to that big idea?
Okay.
Um, and that's how you make it because, once you're looking at the gap, you can say, oh, this is not for me. There's no way that I will ever
Yeah.
get there, right? When I was knocking at doors, I never ever thought in my wildest dream that sometimes I would be, with a millionaire basically planning out their insurance, their insurance plan for everything that they have, their yachts,
Yeah.
their $1 million homes, etc. It was not, something that was feasible at the time. But when you plan out your year and your months, you put things in bite sizes, then
Right.
they become more manageable. They become the kind of thing that you can do every single day and you can stay consistent until you see results.
Yes.
It's the momentum that you need, but also what gives you that is the consistency. You have to keep doing something every single day to move towards your goal. So
That's an important word. I love that word, consistency, because a lot of
consistent.
people, like I say, especially the Latino community. I'm from Puerto Rico, so a lot of us, the Latin community, we're known for starting something and not finishing it. It's just the honest truth, because we have so many, we have good intention. We want to do, and we start something, and then we don't see the results, and we want to switch. This project didn't work. Okay, well, I'm gonna do something else, and then you see the person is not consistent.
Right. You see, Angel, it's almost like you're trying to get a tree, right? You plant the seed, you know it's gonna grow, but every single day you have to water it, you have to put the fertilizers,
Yes.
and you need to be patient. There's a time where you need to be patient as well, and you need to keep doing the things that you're doing, so it could grow. We have a mango tree in our backyard because I love mangoes. I'm from the
Oh yeah.
so I'll tell you the hardest part. The hardest part wasn't when the seed was, in the dirt and we couldn't
Uh-huh.
see anything. The
Right.
hardest part was when it started growing and when the mangoes started, forming in there, right?
Right. Right.
But it's almost like you can see the potential, but you cannot enjoy it yet. You have to
Ooh.
wait till it becomes yellow, it becomes ripe, and then you're like,
Yeah,
"Okay, I can eat this right now, right?" And praying every day that you don't get raccoons to eat it, or the neighbor doesn't get it,
yeah,
and all that stuff. But meanwhile, although it does have the fruits, you have to keep watering it. You have to keep doing everything that you were doing before, which is hard because it's almost like it looks like you're seeing results, but you're not enjoying it yet, right?
exactly.
So that's an analogy that I wanted to give you, that sometimes we get to the point where we see the potential, but
Mm-hmm.
still cannot enjoy it yet. We have to be consistent and keep doing the things that we know are going to produce the result, and basically trust the process.
Exactly. So what are your main as far as like your main business like right now? What is the main thing that Laura Joinville is doing right now?
Right now, I have startup companies that I help, and basically what I help them do, I help them gain clarity on what they want to do, where they want to go, and I help them with the process.
Okay.
Um, you know, Last year was an eye opener for a lot of people,
Yeah. Yeah.
where COVID happened. A lot of people lose their jobs, and I know they say what 3 million women dropped out of the workforce, and that's
Wow.
for one reason, mainly children, right? A lot
Wow.
of
Yeah.
the kids were e-schooling, they were e-learning. It was a very, very tough year, and we're still going through a tough year. So you have a lot of brilliant individuals that were um, in the workforce that started thinking differently, you know,
Yeah.
and they figured, if not now, then when?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
So I help a lot of those individuals doing what they call corporate pivoting, basically
Okay.
turning from a 9 to 5 mindset and a 9 to 5 job to business ownership, where they can build something that they can be proud of, and eventually that will take care of them and their family. And
Yeah. Because
it's
on your website, when people go to the laurajoinville.com, they can
right.
subscribe. You get their email, and then you follow up with them because you also do
Yes.
business coaching as far as you do it individual coaching and you do group coaching. Correct?
Yes, but
So
the
it's
group coaching is very fun. We're about to start one in July. Again,
okay.
it's very, very fun. And I think people learn a lot from that,
Yeah.
because you're able to hear other people that
Experience.
have
Yeah.
businesses, and that you're able to hear their challenge, and you're able to hear their concerns, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes some solutions that work for them as well. You're able to network with them. So it's very interesting because people can eventually network with each other while they're learning from each other.
Ah, that's
uh,
nice.
so it's very interesting. One on one, it's great because sometimes people have very unique needs, or different ways of learning, and they need that one on one attention. But when they go to the group coaching, they get to hear other people, and they get to hear all the questions that I ask them, and they get to hear me coach other people, and
Yeah.
it helps a lot.
So how about when you, let's say when you start coaching someone and someone has a great idea for a business, etc. How important is it, maybe like a budget, is knowing their budget and whatnot? How important is that? Have you ran into that experience before?
Yes, and the budget, for you to determine the budget you have, that's where we go back to the market research.
Okay, makes sense.
We go back to the market research because you need to know, what am I going to need for this? What does it require?
Right.
Is it a brick and mortar? Are you doing a business online? What does it require? Do you need equipment? What do you need? And also you need to look into your credit. Credit is king, right?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Sometimes some people don't have the money, but they have the bank to fund everything for them. And
Exactly.
I think that's what banks should do, fund your dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
They get you started.
fund your dream if you have a good relationship with them, which is
Right.
why it's important to have a good relationship with your bank. And to take credit very seriously, because really credit is king, and credit is what will take you where you want to go.
It is.
So sometimes the opportunity comes in, and we don't necessarily have the cash. We don't necessarily have the 1,000 to 3,000, whatever it takes
Yeah.
to make it happen, or even more. And I know for realtors too, when those properties come along and they want to invest and do all that, you need cash flow to be able to do that. And that's not always available, so the bank has to fund it.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot that we go through
Okay.
at the beginning, but eventually the market research is very important, because that's what gives you your numbers. Once you know your
Okay.
numbers, then you just have to follow um,
Exactly.
the formula to know exactly what you're going to get at the end of the day.
Yeah, but that's a good point that you brought at the beginning, is to learn the market, do that research and whatnot, especially like let's say for someone who wants to do a restaurant business. I mean, everyone look at what happened to the economy with all the restaurants, restaurant is I think a different market, not necessarily because the type of restaurant you have, but right now the people don't want to work as waiters. It's very, they're struggling. Is very hard until the economy. I feel that until the economy gets back up and running once again, then that's a different industry.
Restaurant industry is very tough, because before you get one person at the table, there's so much you have to do, and you have to spend quite a bit, because the kitchen equipment and all that, it gets very expensive. So that when you want to open a restaurant, the market research definitely has to be done. And if you don't
Yeah.
know how to do it, you have to get someone to really take a good look at these numbers for you, because
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes that's why entrepreneurs don't make it. They have this great idea, and it's really a good idea, but eventually they burn out when it comes to cash flow,
Yeah.
and they don't realize, they underestimate how much it would cost to basically launch this business. So before they even launch it, it goes out the window. But anybody that has a restaurant, I
Yeah.
highly recommend that you do put your restaurant on Instagram. Instagram is very, very important when it comes to that.
See, I
Um,
love that because I love social media platforms. I'm learning even more now with the podcast. I learned more about YouTube algorithm. I mean, so much thing, and I tell my wife, because I see my wife, even friends and stuff, they have a business or something. But I'm like, social media right now is just the way to go, because it's 2021, and those are the platforms that are out there. Plus, they're free to use. That you have everyone has a free platform.
yes, yes.
Imagine if we had these platforms when you were 19. Imagine, you know what I'm saying?
I know, absolutely. And
Yeah.
also, there's a lot of work sometimes at the beginning. You can either outsource it or do it yourself, but it's not good to launch a great idea, right? And
Yeah.
sit and wait for the results. You have to understand that nobody knows you yet.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
nobody knows you yet. It is your job to build that
Promote yourself.
brand and create the brand that you want to build,
Yeah.
and put yourself out there and promote it. If you have a restaurant, go out there, be social, and invite people to your restaurant. Invite
Absolutely.
the neighbors, the ones that are
Hmm.
close to you. Invite them for lunch, invite them for dinner, bring samples to them, invite them every day. consistency is key. You know,
Wow. Yeah.
consistency is key. And when you're on Instagram, post every day. Post what you're
Everything.
doing. Then
Yeah.
how people are enjoying the food, what they're saying about the food. All that is, it takes a little bit of creativity, but
Mm-hmm.
it goes a long way when you do it every
Long way.
day. Eventually you look back and you have this wonderful website, or
Yeah.
media platform where you're fully branded, and that's where you want to go.
Okay, and Laura, what's in store for Laura Joinville in the next coming months? Now that we're going to open, the country's opening little by little. What's in store for you in the next months for this year?
For this year, I want to I want all the stages to be open, to be honest with you. Um,
Yeah.
because I feel that we've been through a tough year and people are traumatized.
Yeah.
People are traumatized after such a long and painful year,
Mm-hmm.
painful 2 year that is. And
Yeah.
a lot of people still don't understand where to go with their lives. What do I do from here? Where do
Right.
I go? And I remember being in that position where I felt that I had so much to give, and that I wanted to do so much more, and I just didn't know how.
Yeah.
So I want to be this person for others, where I can at least, shed some clarity on what they want to do and take them from point A to point B.
And B.
And,
Absolutely.
that's my niche, really. And eventually, there are people that they learn so fast and they're ready to go, they're ready to scale as fast as possible, they're growing. And
Yep.
eventually, the thing with me is, if they want to go, if you want to build that $1 million business, or you want to scale higher, while Laura cannot necessarily take you there, I have a great network. I have a good network of people that
Yes.
can take you as far as you want. And I'm more than happy to connect you to some great people, some
Okay.
good network that can support your business and help you get to this place where you're trying to get.
To go. Exactly. Well, thank you, Laura. That's awesome. That's awesome. Like you said, you have a great network. So people
Absolutely.
follow Laura on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I already shared all the information. So shortly after this podcast, I'm gonna have all the links available. Laura, I want to thank you so much. The time has flown. I can't believe it.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know.
It was exciting. It was great though. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope sometime in the near future we could do this again. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Angel, for having me. And thank you, everybody. And don't quit on your dreams. If that's
Yeah.
the one thing that I can tell you at the end, is don't quit on your dreams. Everything is indeed possible, but
Yes.
you do have to make the first step every day.
Yep.
So
That.
that's
Thank
basically
you.
what I have. You're welcome. Thank you
That's
so much.
great. That's great. Some great advice, Laura. Thank you for closing that with that great advice. Absolutely. So, thank you, Laura. Don't go away. I'll be right back with you as
Okay.
we're gonna close out. Okay.
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you, everyone on Instagram. If you want to hear this, I gotta cut it right here. So go ahead and follow me on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and my YouTube channel. Please subscribe, share this content. I told you, Laura, she is very talented. Like she said, if she's not able to help you individually, she has a great network of people that she could connect you with. So it all depends. So it's not that she's the only door. She has many doors that she can help you with, guys. So look her up, Laura Joinville on Facebook. Visit her website and subscribe to her information and her channel as well. Okay, guys. So thank you again for joining, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for enjoying this podcast. I'm gonna have all the links to the YouTube channel, the audio download, etc., and everything. Once we conclude this So thank you guys again for sharing this information. And before we leave, I want to leave you with this word, and it's in Proverbs 21:3, and it says, to do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. I'm going to repeat that again. To do what is right and just is more acceptable to the Lord than sacrifice. So, guys, thank you again for joining this podcast. I'll see you in the next show this Wednesday. I'm going to post shortly later tonight. This Wednesday, I have another great invited guest that you don't want to miss. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Okay, guys? So, thank you. God bless. Take care and have a great, successful rest of the week. I'll see you in the next show.